Julio Rodriguez has been riding the struggle bus all season long. So, in redraft leagues, is it time to finally cut bait? We're talking Rodriguez and plenty more interesting names on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Ane, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Ane. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly, truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel and gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, but most importantly to Matt and I, guys, give us a chance on the Subtext platform. Through Subtext, it's an in-depth, personalized experience through text message alerts right to your phone, offering so much more than we can in this 30-minute podcast. And guys, this is the time of the year that you want to do it. If you do want to give us a chance on Subtext, you could find a link wherever you're watching, listening, or if not, it's available on any of our social media platforms. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. And guys, so you know what time it is here on Locked On Fantasy Baseball, and I feel like we've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks. Time to trim the fat. And Matt, I think you agree. We have a major name right here at the top. I don't even want to bury the lead. Let's talk some Julio Rodriguez. Matt, what do you think? I think we fire up the drop-o-meter a little bit today too, right? I think we should do the drop-o-meter on here too.
Yeah, I mean, I actually left my haterade at home
Ooh,
today.
Okay.
But don't worry, it still embodies me. I have my hate of starbursts.
Okay.
Ready to rock. So you saw me doing the Gavin Lux. So Julio Rodriguez has sucked so bad this year that let's call him a bust and a half. One I didn't see. Injury riddle season, slowest start I've ever seen, and he hasn't really hit anything. He literally has on the month 3 runs, no bombs, 3 ribs, a 167 batting average. This is not ugly, it's fugly. And honestly, at this point, it's time to drop. I'm a full out 10. I didn't even realize it's gotten this bad.
Let's throw the caveat out there with redraft leagues and in your keepers and your dynasties. I think you're still standing pat in those, but in redraft leagues, I'm with you there though for sure.
Keeper's interesting for me, whereas dynasty's a lot different, right? Keeper, I might try it. Well, it depends on when your trade deadline is, and if you have off-seeding trading, but I'm obviously not going to drop him because that would be stupid. But you can't drop him, but you could trade him. Now, the problem is you're going to get pennies on the dollar. He lost all his value from last year. But the thing is, if your trade deadline is still operating, then you kind of got to be like, okay, cool. Here, let's see what I can get and how I can push myself over the finish line to kind of win that championship. So if your trade deadline is still open, I'd do it. But if not, you got to hold him. He had a good month last month, but not great. Like this is the other part with Julio Rodriguez. July was 8 runs, 4 bombs, 3 doubles, a stolen base, batted .375. And OBP 434, slug 688, OPS of 122. That's his best month by far. May wasn't atrocious, but again, power wasn't there. He had nice stolen base numbers, batted .274. April was slow with 1 home run and 7 stolen bases, batted .256. Julio, you're pretty much done in my book. I have to drop him. Maybe I bring it down to about a 7 because I saw the July numbers. But if he's dead weight and you need to add somebody to get yourself to clinch the spot, just do it. Just do it. Unless you're in first place. You're in first place, second place, you got the bye, hold. But if I'm anywhere below it and I need to make the run, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Julio is such a tough one for me because I can't figure out where the power's gone, right? I mean, and the funny thing is, if you look at the underlying stuff, you compare this year to last year, everything looks very, very similar. Maybe a little bit down in certain things, but the stuff he excelled in, he continues to excel in, and the stuff he doesn't, he continues to not. So he's still 97th percentile in sprint speed, still average exit velocity 75th percentile, in bat speed 95th percentile, hard hit rate 80th percentile. He's doing everything right underneath the boards, but above the boards, we have a 251 batting average with 11 homers and 18 steals, 40 RBIs in 114 games. And Matt, read you off the last month, no power, no speed at all. So I don't know what's wrong here. Maybe it's a mental thing. Matt and I talk about in the off season a lot how, baseball is their job. They get paid to do this. And when we all have our jobs and we all struggle at times in life and things like that. So maybe it's something like that. I just can't explain why the numbers aren't there. But as far as, hey, playoffs are coming up, you might already be in your playoffs in some leagues. I think that with Julio, 5 on the drop-o-meter for me. Matt, I'm sorry. I see you wanted to chime back in there. Hop back in, my brother.
Yeah, I forgot. You covered the stats, the underlining stats, and it's still kind of ugly, right? He's down 2 miles per hour on his average exit velocity. His hard hit percentage is down 10% as well. Bat speed is the only thing that's looking pretty consistent. But you look at even like his barreling, everything that kind of makes him who he is, that would makes him so good, is down even like a 0.25%. And with a guy that is like literally known for slow starts, this literally cuts you off at the knees when, he can't even just repeat what he did last year. Like the second half, like he was a monster last year. This year, we're like, okay, we're talking about dropping him. That's why he's like a 7 to me right now.
Yeah, so like I said, he's still excelling. The whole thing is he's still in above average in all the categories that I spoke of, and still in those high percentiles. He's down from being the superstar that he normally is. Maybe it's the ankle that he missed a month with. Maybe it's the slow start. But I don't think at 23 years old, I'm not giving up on him in those. And in keeper leagues, I think, in my opinion, I think you stand pat. Like Matt said, you're gonna get pennies on the dollar. So I'm not taking that right now. If the right offer's there, sure, but I'm not selling in keepers or dynasty very cheap on him. I'm probably not selling at all. But for redraft leagues this year specifically, if you're in an 8-10 man league and there's better options out there, like consistent guys that we know, I'm not taking no flash in the pan, guys. If you have specific questions, join us on Subtext. We can get those exact answers to you for your specific league and player needs. But for Julio in general, I'm going to put a 5 on the drop-o-meter for now. We actually have another superstar here. So, we're going to have some long conversations today. Might go a little bit long if we have to. Let's talk Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. And it's just another superstar caliber guy that is, struggling, and it's hard to really see why, because, the talent is still there. I don't think anything has devastatingly changed with Rutschman, but let's look at the last, month for him. 7 runs, 1 homer, 10 steals, 10 RBIs, no steals, 244 batting average, over 78 at bats. Not looking great. Somebody that we paid, pretty much the number 1 catcher price for, if not 2, really not paying dividends. That's why I always say to wait on catcher. And you look at the underlying stuff too, he's not really known for his power, so the power stuff doesn't look great. But, the stuff for batting average, he's sweet spot looks good. He's squaring the ball up nicely, not striking out a lot, not whiffing a lot. Honestly, I would probably put him over Julio. I'd probably put him at an 8 right now for Adley, just because there are probably better options out there to go on your waiver wire and snag. He's not really getting it done. I think you can move on. I not in keeper dynasty, but redraft. Once again, keeper dynasty, I'm going to stay locked in at Rutschman. But for redraft, I think we cut bait. I'm gonna put him at like 7.
So we're gonna disagree on this one.
Okay.
I'm not dropping him. And there's a couple reasons, right? Like, first off, his season total numbers are much better than Julio's by far. On top of that, he had one really bad month, and that was July. 132 batting average, but he walked 13 times to 10 strikeouts, which was fantastic. The power just wasn't there with 2 home runs and 6 ribs, and all that stuff was kind of not good. But this month isn't atrocious, batting 257 on the month, right? Like, it's not it's not atrocious. Even like in points leagues, he had 4 doubles, he had a triple. Yeah, we'd like to see like 2 more home runs, but the ribs aren't atrocious. It's not like it's like 5, it's 10, and
Still not great for a month.
but I mean the month ain't over yet. He could hit 3. He could literally hit a 3-run home run.
Well, for the last 30 days, let's put it that way.
Okay, sure. But if he hits a 3-run home run this today, for instance, he's more in the caliber of, okay, he's having a pretty good month. You know, it goes from,
if he strikes out 4 times today too, then it's even worse.
sure. But the thing is too, like, where are you going to get this kind of production with everyday play from a catcher?
I like Austin Wells, Adrian Del Castillo. There's just guys out there right now that I think if you're in the playoffs right now and you're in the midst of it, or you start the playoffs next week and you're in a position where you need the stats right now, and you're in a redraft league, you can drop the Julios, you can drop the Adleys. That's where I stand anyway. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to wait one more week when I'm in the playoffs to see if he's going to perform or not.
Well, the thing is like, okay, like, where are you going to get a catcher that plays every day? Because like, you could also pick up a catcher today.
Austin Wells, Adrian Del Castillo, the guys like that, if they're out there, if the guys that are performing at catcher that we talk about on our waiver wire episodes every week, that if you haven't seen and you need a catcher, check those out. Guys like that, if they're out there, take them. If they're not, then by all means, stand pat with Adley. I'm just saying, if the options are out there, then go for it.
Well, Wells is sitting at least 1 to 2 days a week. So, like, he's not playing every day like Adley.
No, Adley's not playing every single day.
Adley's playing 5 days at min.
So Wells been playing almost the same thing.
No, I'm saying he's sitting twice a week at least. And Adley played 5 games in a row, had 1 game off, and then 4 games, 1 game off, and that's fine.
And then the week before that, he missed 3 games. From the 17th, he missed the 17th, he missed the 16th, and he missed the 20th.
Okay, that's in the same week. I didn't realize that. But yeah. I mean, okay. I'm still not dropping him. If anything, I might add another catcher and kind of keep him.
That's a good thing too. That actually, I like that. So if you have a guy at the end of your bench that's not performing, right, and you could cut that guy and throw Adley, into your utility or a bench spot till he, does pick it back up. I like that. That is definitely a good route to take.
Yep. All right. As much as I'd love to continue this conversation, up next is Michael Garcia, Bryson Stott, what to do with him, and Christopher Morel. All names that are pretty much on the bubble. What should you do? Should I hold on to them or not? You're going to find out right after this. All right. So, whenever I need to pick me up after a night out or or it's a really hot day and I need to hydrate, I get hydrated now. I get myself a liquid IV. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from #1 powered hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like liquid IV, indulgent hydration. Blast off with iconic summer flavors like Popsicle Fire Stick, which they sent us some, and God, it's good. A festive blend of citrus-fueled lemon and tart cherry, and some raspberry flavors all day. How you doing? Find all your favorite flavors on the website, from Acai berry, lemon lime, to a little pina colada. Got to have those summer vibes. No more thirsty summers when you have indulgent hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off with your first order on Liquid IV. You go to liquidiv.com and use the code MLB at checkout, and that's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of hydration of water. Hydrates better than water alone. Powered by LIV Hydration Sense, and optimized ratio of essential electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes and of our leading sports drinks. 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, all the frees you can humanly imagine. Game Time is the authorized ticket marketplace of the Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on Game Time app actually go down as it gets closer to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in-one prices, views from your seat, and the lowest prices guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Last-minute deals save you up to 60% when you buy last-minute on sports events, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game, a game or event. Zone deals are pretty sweet. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seat for you. All-in-one pricing, so toggling through this feature shows all total upfront costs with no surprises at checkout, so you're not like bummed when you realize, oh shoot, this is all it is, the extra $50 cost. Lowest prices guaranteed on or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference back. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with most flexibility and customer service policy in ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets for the MLB season with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Whew. Yeah, buddy. Are you watching Fox Sports and ESPN on your TV all day? Have you had to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all that screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or free on the Amazon Fire TV channel app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast on Diamond Club on Subtext, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion. As the season unfolds, rely on our dynamic content, get real-time alerts right to your phone, including waiver wire rankings, instant call notifications, injury reactions, and a whole lot more. Stay ahead of your fantasy leagues by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where your path to victory begins. And if you subscribe now, you get a free 2 weeks. Check us out, links in the description below. Sorry, I turned on the fast forward button. But yeah, after stumbling through that because I'm loaded up on all the sugar from Starbursts, I figured I'd redeem myself and read really fast. But Dom, that was a lot. Please. Go.
Matt, I thought you did great there, actually. Honestly, you did a fantastic job, and we always appreciate you, brother. I know I do for sure. So let's talk some Michael Garcia, though. Let's try and let's get through the rest of these names here. Michael Garcia, I'm actually going to practice what I preach here. I actually just saw he was available in my leagues, and I didn't pick him up because you know what? I put him on the episode. I noticed he's been being dropped a lot, right? I noticed he's one of the more dropped players on Yahoo. I know he's had a very, very inconsistent season. But he's only 24 years old. And you know what? First full year in the league, I really like what Michael Garcia has done. A little bit speedy, doesn't really have too much pop. A lot of, runs playing in that Royals lineup, getting driven in a lot. Bats leadoff from time to time, kind of goes from the top to the bottom of that lineup. Kind of depends who's in that lineup on the day. And he's actually been pretty good over the last month, right? Over the last month. Oh, I did have that pulled up. Bear with me a second.
20 runs, a bomb, 7 ribs, 9 stolen bases, batting .255.
Thank you, sir. So batting average is actually up from what he's been doing on the year. A lot of runs. The speed is there. And then over, his last few games, he's been good as well. And, he's a streaky player. So, ride the streak. Honestly, on the drop-o-meter, Michael Garcia is somebody I'm going to put it like a 2, honestly. Like I said, 2 steals on the 27th, a 3 for 8 game on a doubleheader on the 26th, a home run on the 25th. So he's been hot. Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal, right? And in roto leagues, like that's a run cheat code. He's being driven in because he's getting on base, and 20 runs in a single month is fantastic. That'll pretty much win you weeks just in that category. Plus, put you over the edge just for total roto leagues as well. So Garcia honestly is a contributor. I'm not dropping him. I'm not also happy that I have him, but with the Swiss Army knife of position eligibility, at second, third, short, like you could pretty much put him anywhere in those spots and he'll be successful for you. And it's not like you have to play him every day. He's not a guy you're relying on to start day in and day out, but on those spot starts where you have a break on somebody, you're okay rolling him out. He's a good bench player for you. He's definitely not somebody you're going to count on. If you're counting on him to be an everyday lineup, then you're in bigger trouble than you think. Let's put it that way, because it's not a guy we were drafting either. He's a waiver wire pickup we've been dropping on and off all season long.
I'll tell you this. I think he's a sneaky pick next year.
He could be. I mean, the trajectory of the Royals have been fantastic. So I like Garcia's, prospects of being good. But, I need to see more out of him in total. Like, if he's going to be stolen bases and runs, which is fine, I need to see the batting average come up as a whole and see what we saw last year at 272 versus 239 on the season. That's the biggest difference for me with Michael Garcia. I need to see that step taken forward. But he's definitely not going to be, a guy I'm going to walk away with as my starter, but he definitely might be drafted as a bench player, somebody with some upside and breakout. So I hate to do this, but, we're just rounding out, and I don't even want to start this next guy without having to go, and that's Bryson Stott, because we went so long in the first half, so I apologize for that. But coming up next is Bryson Stott. What are you going to do with him? How are we going to handle it? And it will be coming up right after this.
And all right, guys, we're talking Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB, and you instantly get $50 when you play $5. Exploring my skills on PrizePicks this season adds an extra layer of excitement to daily fantasy sports. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000 real fast. PrizePicks is incredibly user-friendly. I can make my selections and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. And as the host of Locked On Fantasy Baseball, here are some rock-solid picks. Let's opt for Hunter Brown to have higher than 5.5 strikeouts in his next start, and he has been stellar in the second half, so I think that's a lock. Opt for Ellie De La Cruz to have higher than 0.5 steals in his next outing, and the guy's been stealing everything under the sun, so that's a great one. And then opt for Juan Soto to hit a dinger in his next game, and him and Judge have been on fire, so that's another great one for you guys. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly when you play 5. That's the code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And all right, Matt, I know you were excited, brother. So you want to start us off here with some Bryson Stott?
Yeah, why not? So Stott is let me preface this. Him and the Phillies just aren't jiving at all. I hate to use like 1970s reference, but jiving feels like the word that's perfect for them because they're just not doing it. And he's been really bad of late. And yes, this last week he's turning it around a little bit, hitting 333 on the week. 6 runs, a bomb, 2 ribs, 3 stolen bases. I don't know if it's really a turnaround. I think this is may have just like them catching a little streaky here. If you need to move on, I'm not going to blame you. He started off really nice in May. He had a really nice May, essentially, is what I've seen. A really nice May and a really nice July. And August has been really, really putrid. June has been a batting average of 241, and April has been a batting average of 225. Like, it's really not been wonderful. The strikeout ratios have been bad over the last 2 months. Five walks to 15 strikeouts, 3 walks to 12 strikeouts over the last 2 months. And it's not enough to really make up the difference in points leagues. Even in roto and head-to-head leagues, it's kind of just like, he has been a guy that you're probably benching and just been questioning, should I drop them? I say you can drop them. You can go for it. He's about a 6 for me. I'm not like, oh my God, like I need to drop him. But if I need to move on and there's a better second baseman or shortstop out on waivers, I'm going to go pick them up and I'm going to drop Stott.
Yeah, see, Stott's a tough one for me just because, as you said, he's kind of been, hitting a little bit of late. You read off the last week, even the last 2 weeks, the 333 batting average maintains over the 2 weeks, and the runs and the steals are there. The same thing. I think it's just at this point of the year, guys, if there's better options out there, you take them, and if Bryson Stott is the best option for you, you hold for now. Probably, like I said, 4 or 5, probably 4.5 for me on the drop meter for Stott. But let's get some starting pitchers in the mix here. Let's start with Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller, I mean, he's just always that guy that you just want him to be really good, and it's not ever long enough. Like, it's always for, a 2, 3, 4 start stretch. He's really good. And then you get, 2, 3 bad ones in a row, and it just kind of always circles throughout that route. And I just feel like this is the time of year where you want consistency. And, playing for the Pirates, 11 wins on the year is decent. 3.84 ERA for Mitch Keller, a 1.24 whip. 152 innings, 138 strikeouts under that K per 9. But then let's do the last, 30 days for Mitch Keller. It's 24 innings, 24 strikeouts, a 6.75 ERA with a 1.42 whip. If there's better options, if the Aaron Gettys and, the guys like that, even Bowden Francis, guys coming off the waiver wire, that are hot, I'll take them. He gets Cleveland in his next one. Cleveland's been really, really good this year. I don't trust him. Probably put him at like a 6.5, 7 for me, for Mitch Keller.
I'm right there with you. I really don't even need to add anything. Mitch Keller, had some bright spots this season, but isn't somebody you really relied on. So I'm okay with it, Mr. Waiver Wire himself. Let's move on to this next pitcher that's a waiver wire pickup, and it's Brandon Pfaadt. He foughted everywhere on your team these last couple weeks, and this guy has been stinking up the place. Got lit up against the Mets literally yesterday with 11.57 ERA. Got lit up by Miami at a 6.75 ERA, Colorado a 5.14 ERA, Pittsburgh a 5.40 ERA, and Pittsburgh again with a 7.40 ERA. Like, it is just not fun to be an owner. He's still 76% owned. I'm at an 8. I'm dropping him. He's a guy that, again, we didn't draft. And if you drafted him, you draft him in deep leagues. And he just really wasn't there for you. Like, and he was there to be good when he was good. But now you can move on. You don't really care. And if he picks it up again, you can, because nobody's going to pick him up with the way he's been performing. He's going to be there for you to go pick him up again. So just drop Fott and stop letting him Fott all over your team.
Yeah, I'll put Fott at an 8 or 9. I agree with pretty much everything you said there, Matt. Don't really have too much to add. It could be an interesting guy for next year, because you know what? He did take a lot of step forwards in the right direction. And, 154 innings. He's young. I know he threw a lot of innings in the minors. I have to see. I don't remember exactly how many he threw, but there was one year where he had a lot. Yeah, he threw 167 innings in the minors in 2022. So he's not at his career high. But then in 2023 combined, it was only like 126. So he's still, over what he did last year. He could be getting some fatigue. Still this year, 8 or 9, get him off your team. There's definitely a lot of better options out there at the moment. But I do look forward for fun next year. Let's move on. Let's talk some Garrett Crochet. And I think he's been on this, might be our first repeat customer on the Keeper Cut this year, because you got to get him off your team. If he's still on your team right now and you're competing, I really don't know what you're doing. He's a 10. The White Sox have come out and said that he's not going to throw many innings at all, the rest of the way. 4 innings in his tops in his last 5. 2 of those were under 4. One of them was a good game where he had 9 strikeouts against Houston. I mean, if you're in really, really deep leagues or onlys, maybe you can hang on there. But otherwise, he's like pretty much a 10 for me, Garrett Crochet from the White Sox. Another guy, super excited about taking him next year. But for this year, I'm over it. Get him off your teams.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for weeks of just, buy low, sell high. He was a sell high like crazy, because
he's still 78% owned too. It's crazy.
Yeah, because you got to look at it like, we saw the writing on the wall. The innings were way past where he was going to be, right? Like, he's never pitched this many innings in his entire career. So we're starting to see the fatigue. And also, too, here's an update. His next start is TBD. They're already starting to dial him back. I think they're considering whether to send him down or not. It's not like they're going to go and make the playoffs or anything.
Phantom IL stint, that could be right around the corner, too.
Yeah, I mean, phantom, meaning fake, yes. Because, it's all about control, too. So, like, they can control him for another year if they send him down, like, soon, if I'm not mistaken. So this would be a smart move. Send him down. Let him, minor league season's over this week, funny enough. So it's time to just say, yo, peace out. Let him ride off into the sunset. We'll see you next year. He's about about a full-blown 24 on the drop meter, by the way.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Dom, if you have anything else left to say, we're good.
No, we're good. Like I said, 10. Just get him off your teams at this point. He like you said, TBD on his next start. Might not even make it. Get somebody that's going to make your next start if you're in the playoffs. So just common sense at this point, guys.
Amen. All right, guys. So look, you love us so much. Check out our boy Sully over at Locked On MLB. He puts on a great show. Honestly, he's very knowledgeable and covers the whole league. So check it out. And guys, please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review. Tell your mother, your friends, everybody. Tell your mom again for me. And share the show everywhere if you can, and please leave us a review. It really helps out the show. Have a great rest of your day. I will not be here. It's fantasy football time for me. I got a draft. So with that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace out, yo.
See ya.